Okay, this is a conversation which I had with one of my friends, an ex-Dubai guy. This is yesterday, so the conversation is still fresh in my mind. Okay. Now, it's about my friend who got jailed in UAE for 25 years. And I'll tell you what he told me, and you can form your own opinions. Okay. Now, when I was in Dubai, if you have followed me for a couple of years, if you have been on my Facebook, list of friends, you would know that I was involved in, half marathon running, then bodybuilding, triathlon, swimming. So, because I was into all these kind of sporting events, I constantly needed supplements. And yes, for bodybuilding, I did use steroids for getting muscle. Okay. And, I was not doing it professionally. I was doing it more like a hobby. I was an enthusiast. I enjoyed what I was doing. So I would constantly go to different pharmacies to buy bodybuilding supplements or energy drinks or, vitamin pills. And so one of the most popular pharmacies was Life Pharmacy. If you are in UAE, you'd know the brand Life Pharmacy. Okay. I would go to the outlets because they had a nice display of a good selection of bodybuilding supplements, a good selection of vitamins, minerals, and they would constantly have special offers. So it was a good deal for me, and just like what I do here, I always visit multiple stores like 7-Eleven. This is a convenience store here. I visit multiple stores to see what are they selling at a cheap price, maybe because it's going to get expired, or they're going to give a special of a buy two get one free or something. So even with the Life Pharmacy, I used to go there, and they would have these nice promotions. You can get if you buy a protein shake, you get a flask free. This vitamin tablet is getting expired, take it for 50% off. So there's always a promotion. So it was at this time that, when I was buying things, I happened to bump into this guy. Okay. And Malayali guy, smart guy, really good looking, smart young man. Okay. And when I went to him, this was in Sharjah. If I remember correctly, it was near, the Kasbah area. Okay, Kasbah is where the waterfall, Majaz Park, that area. So that is where I think I bumped into him first. And when I went there, he gave me very good service. He was very professional. Like when I came in, he walked up to me. He said, "Sir, can I help you?" I said, "No, I'm just looking. And sir, if there's anything you need, I'll take care." And as I was looking and checking around, I asked him, like, what about this product? I don't remember what product it was. He actually suggested, "Sir, can I suggest something?" I said, "Yes, go ahead." So instead of buying this, can I recommend this one? And he showed me something else. I looked at him as a salesman first. I was like, oh, he's trying to sell something else. And then he told me, like, "Sir, this is more or less the same ingredients, but here you'll not only get discount, I can give you one, there's a sample piece for free, And he said, "You don't have to buy it, taste the sample piece. If you like it, then you can go for this. If you don't want, you can buy that, whatever makes you better." So I jokingly told him, "So you're getting commission to push this?" Saying, "No, sir, nothing like that. This will benefit you. You will save your money. For me, we don't get any commission, nothing." So I was like, "Oh, okay, fine, all right." I don't know if he was getting commission, but this is what he said. He told me, like, "We just have our target, but commission, we don't get anything. It's not allowed." I said, "Fine." So I took the sample home. I tried it. I liked it. I came back the next day. I took it. So that is how we started off the relationship. And very soon, even though there were so many life pharmacies, most of them, they were fucking idiots. They would, you go there, yes sir, oh no, okay. They would not care a damn. But when I would come to this guy, he would, he would come forward to meet you at the door. And when you'd finish, he would leave you at the door, And I noticed that he was not doing this just for me. He was doing it to every customer. A very nice guy, and I really appreciated it. And very soon, whenever I would come, he was like, sir, just imagine, like one other day when I came, that time, I just come, okay, I would like to buy this. Sir, I got something for you. I was like, what? So he had kept 2-3 samples. He said, sir, these samples, they gave for free. I thought you'll enjoy it. So he was very thoughtful, and believe it or not, I never gave him a single penny as commission. Never gave him a single penny, nothing. He was doing it genuinely. And so, lo and behold, I started to grow fond of him. I liked him. He was giving me value without me giving him anything in return. Then soon we exchanged numbers and we became friends. And whenever there was a sale, whenever there was a promotion, he would send me a message. And I was so happy that I would recommend his pharmacy to other people. Great guy. And obviously because I was into bodybuilding and all that, later on I asked him, do you know anyone who supplies steroids? Because it's better to buy pharmaceutical grade than if you go and buy in the black market. You don't know if they're giving you the original steroid or, this for bodybuilding purpose. He told me, sir, we don't do all this. The only thing which Life Pharmacy has is HGH, but that is strictly by prescription. So I said, okay, fine. I asked him if it was possible to give. He said, it's not possible. I said, okay, fine, whatever. So I did ask him that. And then when I checked around, I found private pharmacies that would give, but it was way too expensive. They would charge like, double the price. If you could get it for 500, they would charge you 1,000, they would charge you 1,500. And I came to know the actual price through him. He's like, sir, they're charging you 3 times more. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll buy it from the black market. But our relationship continued, whereby he would give me these vitamins. The most common purchases I would have is, what is that? One was the energy, caffeine pills, because I'm a caffeine crazy guy. I would take Gatorade. I like Gatorade and those energy drinks. I would buy chocolates. I loved I'm crazy about chocolate. So I would buy this protein bars, Metrex, that purple drink, that purple packaging, man, muscle, I can't remember that. Body for Life, I think. He used to promote that. So, there were supplements, and especially you have the protein shake in a, disposable, juice, in a can. So I used to buy them, and he used to always, sometimes he could give me discount. Most of the time he couldn't, but he'd always give me some complimentary, so I was very happy. So we kept in touch for quite a number of years. I think 4, 5, 6 years or whatever. Great guy. So then later on I had to leave. I wished him goodbye. Okay. So finished. All right. Now what happened was, after I came down to Thailand, this is at the beginning of my journey. I just landed in Thailand 1 year or 2 years. And one day I get a call. Not a call, sorry, a message. And then this guy says, hi, Mr. Loy, how are you? Fine. Then he says, I'm brother or something. I was like, yeah, tell me, go ahead. Because, you know the guy. He said, he is put in jail. I was like, what the fuck happened? Immediately I was like, why the fuck he's in jail? He's saying, what he told me is, the watchman put some false claim on him, or no, not watchman. He said somebody put a false claim on him for delivering medicine, and they are saying that he's supplying drugs. Now the problem is when the the term drugs is used or this thing, it becomes very hard to help the person. Impossibly hard. Nobody wants to associate, even if it's a false accusation. He said, can you do something? I was like, drugs and all that, nobody would want to deal. Even if I were to call, for example, I were to call my contacts, let's say, I can't tell him like, oh, this my friend is falsely incarcerated for drugs, please release him. It doesn't work that way. You might know someone for years and years, even if he's a director of police. You can't tell him, oh, my friend is missing for drugs, and let him go. Unless, of course, you are at your shake yourself. You can't. So I was like, fuck, man, there's nothing I can do. I'm sorry. I genuinely told him I can't do anything. And I was shocked. I remember sharing it with my group of friends, and they all were shocked. People who knew him all were shocked. Because he was not the kind of guy who will do drugs at all. I can assure you this much. See, because I asked him for steroids. And I was ready to pay him. I told him, good money, I can, I have other people who also want to take in the gym. They'll pay you good money. He said, no, sir, if I could, I would, but really I can't. The pharmacy, everything is prescription. You can't take it. Unless you get a doctor who will prescribe you, I can't do anything. So he was very genuine and honest. And I told you, the only thing he could give was the discounts, and, he'll play around where he'll negotiate with the supplier, get a free this thing and give it to me. And that was how it was. He never did anything illegal. And I even met his wife. I met his baby. He came to my house. He was a nice man. He is still. So I was upset, and, you can't do anything. So I was like, okay, fine. And I totally forgot about it. Now, just 2-3 days ago, I got another message. Hi, Mr. Loy, how are you? And, as usual, I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, what do you want? So immediately he told me that, sir, this is, you remember me? I was like, fucking hell, it's you, the pharmacist. And he said, yes, sir, it's me. And I was like, man, I thought you were in jail and this and that. He's like, sir, I just got released. I was like, no, I need to know what happened. He was like, I'll talk to you tomorrow, sir. I just came and I will talk to you at length. I was like, okay, fine. So finally, yesterday, we spoke on video. The guy, before he had this nice looking hair, he looked like a young boy. His hair was completely shaved off, and he had very small hair, and you could make out like he looked very stressed, like as if he has been through hardship. So I asked him, what the fuck happened, man? Straight off, I asked him, what the fuck happened? And this is what he told me. Okay, and remember, he's giving me his version. I'm telling you what he told me. So you can choose to believe what you want. This is what he told me. He said, sir, I have to give medicines if anyone would ask with prescription. And special offers. I said, yeah, of course I know you. I know you for all these years. Okay. He said, so what happened was, there was this, whichever pharmacy was not performing well, my management would always send me to that pharmacy to make sure the pharmacy would run well. Because most of the Filipino staff, the other Indian staff, they don't care. I said, I'm very aware of this. Okay, whichever pharmacy you went, you always made it run well. So he's saying, you remember the Al Taun shopping mall pharmacy? I said, yeah, I know that there was a pharmacy there. I didn't know that you went there. He said, I was allocated in Al Taun mall, the pharmacy, live pharmacy there. Okay. Town mall? I hope it's right. Okay. So I was allocated there. The initial collection was 11,000 dirhams a day. 11,000 dirhams. But after I joined, the collection became double, like 22,000, 24,000, even 30,000 per day. And my management would constantly recognize me. My management would constantly congratulate me. And I even got promotion. I got promotion as a cluster manager. Okay, they promoted me. So then what happened was, obviously, when you start rising through the ranks, you obviously have jealous, some people who may like you, some people may not like you. So one fine day, his building, the place where he stays, the building watchman told him, it was a Pakistani, okay? So this guy, he told him that I would like lycra, or I can't get the right name. It's a muscle relaxant. You take it to relax your muscle or to go to sleep. You know, like even I used to have problems sleeping. I used to take, the Panadol purple one. That one makes you drowsy. So I used to always take that. So there are different kinds of over-the-counter medicines you can get. Like if you take a cough syrup, it makes you drowsy. I used to, because I had this caffeine habit, so the caffeine would remain in my body and I wouldn't feel asleep. Like even today I'm struggling, But today I no longer take the Panadol because I don't need to get up on time or anything. So there, because I had to get up on time for my exercise workout, I would take the purple Panadol, the Panadol purple box. It's Panadol Midnight or something. So in this guy's case, he wanted a muscle relaxant. Now the thing about this medicine is it's a it's categorized under control tablets. Control tablets are those medicines that only with a prescription you can get. Like when I got diagnosed with ADHD, there is a control medicine which is called Ritalin. I'm not too sure, for ADHD. Okay, that you could only get through controlled prescription. Even this limitless pill which they say, Adderall or something, I don't know if I got the right name. It's a control pill that helps you focus. In some countries you can just buy it. There are people who even have supplements with it. But in some other countries you need to get a prescription from a doctor. So in this medicine's case, a muscle relaxant, he was told that you need to get a prescription. So he told this Pakistani guy, listen, I'll get you the medicine because I'm the manager of this thing, but you bring me the prescription. He said, okay, fine. He asked him what date. He told him the date. He mentioned the date, the exact date, 2000 something, 15 or 17. He gave me that date, exact date, when he was supposed to bring the medicine. So he took the medicine and the guy confirmed, did you get the medicine? He said, yeah, I'll bring it home. You come home and show me the prescription and take the medicine. He said, okay. So he came back home and he was with his 1-year-old baby and his wife. There was a knock on the door and, he was expecting this Pakistani watchman. When he opened the door, 15 Arab men were standing there. He said, sorry, who is this? So immediately they said, we are CID. Come on, go in there. And they pushed him and they said, we are here to check for drugs. He's saying, what drugs? Then behind all these CIDs, he saw this Pakistani guy standing there. So they said, you supply drugs. He said, no, this man, when he saw the Pakistani guy, he understood that they are talking about that muscle relaxant. So he told him, no, this man told me he wants this medicine, but he will show me prescription. So they are like, they didn't listen to him. They were speaking in Arabic and they barged into the house and they were checking and they kept saying, where is this? Where is? So finally he showed where it was. They got the medicines. They grabbed him and they took him. Obviously the wife was, crying and all that. The baby was crying and you can imagine what trauma that poor woman must have gone through. So she was worried and, she can't go anywhere. She has to be at home. They told her there. So these guys, this is what he has told me. They took him to a CID cell. There is a holdout. There it seems, like how you see in the movies, where they interrogate you with physical force. On one side, you can be grateful that it was not as violent as some horror movies, like not horror movies, like you see the 9/11, movies where they torture you, they, strip you naked and cover you with shit and, okay, it was not that extreme, but He was slapped, he was punched, he was kicked. He was saying he was, for 3 hours non-stop, he was slapped, and he was saying his mouth, his full face was swollen. And he's saying, for the first time in my life, I experienced what is electric shock. So they would give me electric shock. And they did this for 3 hours. And then after that, they left him in that room. He was saying, my whole body was aching. And the whole body was aching for a full week. They kept him in a dark room. There's no AC, there's no fan. It's a dark room, there's no light. There's just one place where there's a toilet. There's no door, nothing. Small room. And he had to sleep on the ground. For 1 week, this is what he told me. 1 week, and this I know for a fact is true. Huh? There was no, he couldn't take shower. He couldn't brush his teeth. He couldn't wash his face. Nothing. Okay, and then I asked him, like, what did they give you for food? It seems they would give him, breakfast was 1 caboose, that is an Arabic bread, small one, and 2 cheese or 1 cheese, or sometimes a jam. And they would not give it in, they would throw it on the ground. For lunch, they would give him a packet of rice and a chicken that was fried, but it had a funny smell. There was no salt, nothing. It was just plain fried chicken. And he said he used to feel like puking. He couldn't eat that. At night time, they would give him again rice with some curry. And he's saying it is just like curry, like water. Okay, there's nothing in that, and sometimes vegetable. He said he would not eat that as well. So just morning and afternoon. But he found it hard. So he said this went on for a whole week. And then finally, during the whole week, it seems every time that CID guy would come in and interrogate him and say, tell me, who did you supply drugs from? Where did you get the drugs from? So, he's asking him, where did you get the drugs from, or what drugs did you supply? And he kept saying the same story. I didn't supply any drugs. I gave this medicine. When he would say that, he would just walk out. He's like, yalla, you stay here only. And okay. This went on for a week, and after a week, the guy told him that we will keep you here forever. Okay, maybe we will kill you. The basic scare technique. And he bought him a 30 pages, and there's a sign each page. When he saw the document, it was in Arabic. So he said, what is this? He's saying, you want to go out of here? You sign. Otherwise, you will be here. Now, the wife at the meanwhile, she was trying to locate and all that, and they contacted her and told, if you make noise, on social media, anywhere else, you will also be jailed. Your baby will be taken away from you. They scared her. Or your husband will die. And so she didn't inform anyone on social media. Just imagine the mental torture the family must be going through. And see, before I go further with the story, remember, this is a guy who I know. He's not a criminal. He doesn't do drugs, man. Come on. He's not a mule. He had a nice job. He was a manager. He was doing well. I'm just thinking like a normal family man undergoing this kind of torture. Okay. So finally, he didn't have a choice because he didn't know how long he would be there. He signed. He didn't know what he signed. And this is a common problem in UAE. Yeah? The next day, it seems, from that cell, he was transported to Abu Dhabi. One Sana prison or Sara prison or some name he gave me. It seems that was a federal prison for all, cases related to drugs. People who supply or who were caught red-handed with drugs. They took him there. And there, once again, he had to endure all the suffering and pain that was mentioned. Now here what he said is there were 6 cells or 6 areas or 6 floors or whatever, 6 cells, he used that name. And each of the cells, there were like 10 rooms. And in each room, there would be like, 20 people or so. He gave me some specific numbers. I can't remember the numbers. I'm being honest with you. What I remember, I tell you. So there were either 20 people or 24 people in each room. He's saying there's no place, hardly any place. And over here, he told me it was much better than Sharjah. At least the food was slightly decent. But the problem was, once again he was asked to admit that he was at fault. He was called for court summons. He was called every time, like once they would call him every 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever. And every time they would call him, the hearing would be in Arabic. He would repeat the same story. They would ignore it. And, like they would treat them like animals. He also told me the Emiratis were treated with respect and spoken to properly. But these other nationalities were treated like shit, especially who didn't know Arabic. Food was more or less the same. Phone calls, every 3 days you would get a call for 3 minutes, and only numbers related to your people that you know, and there would always be someone keeping an eye on you. There was a cafeteria, but there you can only get sandwich or noodles or something, and everything is priced 3 times more. You can get something for $5, there's $15, and most of the people there are poor. He gave me a number of 1,500 people being there, and because of the poor hygienic condition, the food and the bad lifestyle, most of them had health issues, most of them had skin allergy and all that. And when they would call a doctor, because he knew, he was in the pharmaceutical industry, he knew medicines, he's saying the doctor would come, he would not care a damn. There would be 20 people waiting, he would just do 4 or 5, talk to them as if they are animals, just give them Panadol or some, he would not bother. And so this went on, and every time he would get called every 3-4 weeks, and they were same thing. They would speak in Arabic, he would repeat the same thing, and they would not care a damn. The lawyer, Emirati guy, who told him that he would represent him, the lawyer asked him for 20,000 dirhams. He paid him 20,000 dirhams. Again, same, nothing was happening. Then the first hearing, fine, nothing happened. They said he is guilty. Second hearing, finally he went to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court, this guy lawyer asked him again 10,000 dirhams. So 20,000 first time, 10,000. And the verdict was reached. You're guilty, 25 years in jail. He said, I got numb. I couldn't feel my hands. I couldn't feel my body. I felt like I died. And when I looked at the lawyer, that son of a bitch, it seems, told him, Inshallah, God is great. Inshallah, don't worry. So, God will take care. He said, obviously he was angry. He was like, that motherfucker, why did he take that money if he was going to tell me Inshallah? And by the way, I forgot to tell you this. After he was jailed the first time in Sharjah, to the shock and surprise, the Pakistani watchman, he also was put in the same cell with him. And this guy got so angry, he beat him and slapped him, and the Pakistani, sorry. And apparently he told him that, I was told to call the CID, I was told to ask the medicine from the people in your office. Okay, there are 2 or 3 people. I don't know why they hated him or whatever. They told me, you ask him this medicine, and then you call the CID. And for this, they offered him money. Now, the reason he admitted this was because he thought putting this guy in jail, he would get the money, he wouldn't have to worry. He didn't know that if this guy would call the police on him, the police would take this watchman also and put him behind bars. I think one of the reasons why they put them together is so that, obviously maybe they are able to hear the conversations or whatever. So he beat him and this and that, and then there's no point hitting him, no? So then, but he refused to tell him the names, and he refused to mention how much money he got. Because I asked him, did he mention this? And obviously this guy got released earlier, and this guy got left in jail. I think it was a strategy for them to see if the truth would come out. Maybe they were listening, eavesdropping or whatever. So 25 years, and he said, my life I thought was finished. He's saying my wife and all that, crying, and there's no money. In fact, his wife went to Life Pharmacy and asked for the MD, and the usual stuff they'll say. Sorry, he's not around. We will get back to you. Please be patient. His wife and his baby, They had to literally live on favors from other people. Then it seems that last year, that is in December, all of a sudden he gets informed that they are going to deport him. Okay, he is forgiven by the ruler and they're going to deport him. So they asked him if he had any money. He said, for what? He said, money for ticket. He said, I can afford, I'll get the money. He said, fine. His passport has expired. So they got this thing done. He got transferred to Sharjah. Once again, he said the food was horrible. Treatment was bad. And this time there were even more people in the cell. They got his passport work done. Then he got transferred to the Sharjah airport. He got transferred to the Sharjah airport cell area. He was kept there for a few days. It seems one of the inmates had COVID and he used to be with him. He got tested positive for COVID, but this guy didn't get. They just put him on air go or something and he landed in India. And now he's united with his family. And obviously, you know, he told me, I'll never go back to that God-forsaken country. I'll never go back to the Middle East. They destroyed 5 years of my life. Now see, in hindsight, okay, I'm pretty sure you'll say that, oh, Loy, you know, because he's your friend, he is not guilty. Fine, like I told you in the beginning of this video, form your own opinion. Okay, I can only tell you what I know, what I'm sure about, and what he told me. Now, is it possible that he could have done something bad? Yes. There's a possibility. I'm telling you, there's a possibility he could have done. But would he have done something like supplying drugs as in cocaine and this and that? Impossible. Fucking possible. Listen, to do something of that magnitude, you need to have a lot of guts. This guy was not one of those guys who had the guts. I'm telling you outright, he doesn't have the guts to do, and he's not so crazy. Like even when I asked him HGH, human growth hormone, okay, for steroid, for bodybuilding, which all bodybuilders take. Just go to any fucking gym in UAE, you'll see bodybuilders injecting, in their muscle. You will see in the gym, you'll see in the locker room. Even today you'll see Deca, Cysternol, Winstrol, they'll be injecting in their butt. Because this is for bodybuilding. They openly sell it in gyms, man. So imagine when I asked this guy for something that everyone was using, he said no. And he was like, no, sir, I can't. He doesn't have the guts. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm glad he doesn't have the guts, because even I wouldn't have the guts. And neither is he crazy. He was a family man. He is a family man. He has a child. I've known him for so many years. But now, obviously, the question remains, why so much of hatred by somebody to get rid of him? I mean, you really have to hate someone to such an extent that, you call the police and CID and ensure that they get jailed for life. That amount of deep hatred is a confusion. Or maybe they wanted to catch him red-handed and maybe they didn't think it would go that extreme. See, all these are unanswered questions. Now, what is the purpose I'm sharing this incident with you? Is not to highlight UAE as an evil place. This incident that took place with him, it can happen in any part of the world, and if you're in bad luck, you're fucked. And if it had happened in places like Bali or Vietnam or even Thailand for the matter, you can just visually imagine the most horrifying thing you can think of. The most horrifying. It would have happened to him. Like you can just Google search this guy, Australian, who got caught for actual guilty for drugs. They put him in a sewage tank with shit up to here, almost to here sometimes. Sewage tank, human sewage. And they would keep him there for 12 hours or so. Just imagine that. They would make them eat rotting food, which is, filled with maggots. They were so hungry, if they would catch a cat or something, they would kill it and cook it and eat it. Because they go and they would keep them in a place where there was shit and all that, and it's dark, and people had even maggots growing inside under their skin. When you cut it, all worms and everything would come out. So horrifying these conditions are. So that is why you have to be really crazy to do these things. And then yes, I did ask him about gay. Were there any gay inmates? He said there were gay inmates and they would offer you cash if you would agree to have sex with them, so you'd have a better life plus protection. He said no. I respectfully told them no, please, saying I was not into all this. See, overall, I'll just tell you this much. I wouldn't want this even to happen to my worst enemy. Even as much as I hate let's say my stepfather, I wouldn't want it to happen to anybody, because this is hell, man. It's, and especially when you have a family, especially you have a wife, you have a baby, it's a nightmare. You wouldn't want this for any family person. Anyway, this is what happened, and today he wants to restart his life from zero. Thankfully he has his home, he has some property. He's going to start his life from scratch. He did give a few names here and there, but I don't want to mention the names because like I said, just don't want to say it. Anyway, this is what I wanted to share. All I want to tell you is just always stay careful, be careful, respect the law of the land. Don't try to fuck around, and you're an expat. Always remember this. You're an expat in a foreign country, or you're an immigrant. You'll always be a second-class citizen. In fact, there's no assurance. Even if you're a citizen in India, you can get fucked if you mess with the wrong people. So form your own opinion on lessons learned from this, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Right? You guys take care. It's me signing off. Ciao.